Carrey, the man who filled the childhood of all the 90s kids with hilarity thanks to his slapstick energy, perfect timing, natural sarcasm, and all-round yes energy in classics like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and many more. The actor has worn a lot of hats in his career: stunning impersonator, shaggy hair eccentric, slapstick comedian, children's book caricature, and that's just the beginning. The Golden Globe winner, who broke out 27 years ago as the white guy on In Living Color, pulled off a blockbuster hat-trick with his first 3 major films and moved straight away into the upper echelons of stardom, never to touch the ground again. But after taking some time away from spotlight, Jim Carrey has returned from the dead, as many people like to call it, with a completely different perspective on life. Some say the actor is going through an existential crisis, some say he's just depressed because of the ugly turn his late girlfriend's death case took, or he has simply gone insane. But what's really wrong with Jim Carrey? A walking contradiction, the rubber-faced clown who also landed on the People's Most Beautiful list, simultaneously the most entertaining guy in the room, the commander of 8-figure paychecks for playing a buffoon, and a surprisingly soulful dramatic actor, Carrey appears to now have finally gone off the deep end. The actor and comedian has made a few public appearances in the last couple of years following the death of his former girlfriend Catriona White, who died from a prescription drug overdose in 2015. Following which, 2 members of White's family filed death lawsuits against him. But due to lack of evidences, the case has now been dismissed and Carrey won't be facing any trial. And lately, it seems like Carrey has decided to wear the disdain he has for the Hollywood game on his sleeve and amuse himself while he's at it. So when he's circled, he uses Kat Sadler like a shark at New York Fashion Week red carpet interview that soon went viral, which some people found bizarre while others found delightfully candid. Well, most of the people said that it sounded like an existential crisis, but Carrey likened it to more of an epiphany, an existential experiment as he calls it. In the interview, he said, "There's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am. Celebrating icons is the absolute lowest aiming thing, possibility we could come up with. I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personalities, beyond invention and disguise, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off." On being asked about why is he dressed up for the event when it's meaningless and what are the current relevant news, Carrey exclaimed, "No, I do not get dressed up. There is no me. There is no you. It's not our world. We don't matter. That's the good news." But it was hardly the most surprising display of defiance he had put on in public in recent times. Jim was always known for going method when he's invested in a project. Remember when he played his famously eccentric idol Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon? How he went all in and never broke character, causing difficulties for the makers, who later went on to make a documentary on just the behind the scenes of the making of the movie. And the documentary was held back from being released by the studio because they did not want the public to think that Carrey was an asshole. Carrey explained the reason for his bizarre interview in another interview with THR, stating the similarities between himself and his role as Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon, saying, "It's kind of an interesting perspective on what came from losing yourself in a character and realizing you are a character who has been playing you your whole life. A lot of people think that I'm going through something, but it's been my whole life. When I try to go back and play Jim Carrey, I got depressed. And now I don't try to do that anymore. I feel like my personality was something that I thought was everything to me at the beginning of this incredible journey I'm on. Doing characters for the films, especially with Andy, the realization starts to hit you after a while that even you are playing the character as a character." In another interview with W Magazine, Carrey got a little deeper on the same issue, saying, "It was about immersing myself in a character or a couple of characters so deeply that I realized that myself, Jim Carrey, was a character as well and something I could push aside at will. So once you know that, you go, who am I? We are a bunch of ideas cobbled together to look like a form. There's a body and there's a mind, but the body is part of the field of consciousness, just dancing for itself, and it's no different than a plant or a chair or your phone. It's all one thing." So we say, this is my name and this is my heritage and this is my nationality and here's my hockey team and these are all of the things that I am. That's the mistake. The only way to it is to step into the river of tears and sorrows of your life. Don't allow yourself to feel the abandonment and pain that you have suffered. And I've done it. I'm through it. And when he presented at the Golden Globes in January 2016, his first public appearance after White's death, he served up some perspective along with the award. He said, "Thank you. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey. You know, when I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy going to sleep. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey going to get some well-needed shut-eye. And when I dream, I don't just dream any old dream. No, sir. I dream about being three-time Golden Globe winning actor Jim Carrey. Because then I would be enough. And I could stop this terrible search for what I know ultimately won't fulfill me. But these are important. These awards. I don't want you to think that just because if you blew up our solar system alone, you wouldn't be able to find us or any of you in human history with the naked eye. But from our perspective, this is huge." Carrey's been offering up his insight into a world he still very much circulates in for some time now, both participating and trying to operate at a certain level of remove. He learned early on that the less he said about himself, especially as it pertained to other people, the better. Carrey has battled depression since his childhood, and to deal with it, he took Prozac. He has stated that he no longer takes medications or stimulants of any kind. As for substances in general, he rarely drank coffee and was very serious about no alcohol, no drugs. Life is too beautiful. Carrey has always been experimenting with his looks, and he once went for the aggressively hirsute Jim Morrison look at the 1999 MTV Movie Awards, where he won the Best Male Performance for The Truman Show and languidly puffed on a cigarette on his way to the stage. Trust us, in 1999, it was wild. Carrey recently grew out an absolutely enormous beard, and the internet broke out with weird reactions. Some even compared him to late comedian actor Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, and worse, Lord Jesus. Jim Carrey is no stranger to using his platform to share his views, no matter how controversial they may be. He is infamous for his anti-vax views, which have alienated a number of former fans who feel that they cannot, in good conscience, support a man whose views not only ignore scientific consensus, but promote actively dangerous ideas and bizarre views which make us scratch our heads and yell, "What's wrong with this man?" He even went ahead and released a video confessing his love for Emma Stone in the creepiest way possible.
This is a message for Emma Stone. Emma, I just wanted to let you know that I think you're all the way beautiful. And if I were a lot younger, I would marry you. And we would have chubby little freckle-faced kids. We'd laugh all day long, and go camping and play Yahtzee and tell ghost stories by the fire. And the sex... And every day for the rest of your life, you would thank God that I was the appropriate age for you. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know how I felt. I think you're pretty special. And I wish you continued success and artistic fulfillment. But most of all, I wish you love and contentment.
While Carrey has always been goofy, with an eye for the ecstatic and the absurd, it is very clear that his pattern of behavior has reached a fever pitch. But he has been like that since forever, right? And in the recent years, the man who immortalized the phrase "laces out" has been somewhat of a recluse himself, favoring a solitary life, and has discovered a medium to channel his inner turmoil through painting, which has become a massive part of his life over the last 6 years. A new 6-minute documentary posted to Vimeo takes you into the actor and comedian's creative process, exposing a new layer to the man's incredible genius.
I don't know what painting teaches me. I know that it just frees me. Free from the future, free from the past, free from regret, free from worry.
Carrey talks about how he used to sketch all the time as a kid but did not pick up painting until 2011 as a means of dealing with a personal crisis, by saying that, "I like the independence of it. I love the freedom of it. No one else tells you what you can or cannot do most of the time, and there's an immediacy to it." A lot of musicians and actors take up some other art form as a means of creative expression, but Carey's talents make this more than just some hobby. He has a real eye for detail, color, design, and an ability to inject a personality and dimensionality into his pieces. Here are some of the political sketches that evoked a lot of debates on Twitter. We expect comedians to be happy all the time. If we were to bump into them, a reflex would be, "Hey, tell us a joke." But the reality is that they are human beings too. And just like us regular people, they are victims of sadness. Perhaps even more so because they see the world in a way we do not. And most of them have gone through the struggles we go through every day. And just because they become stars, they do not have brilliant lives, as Jim Carrey's life teaches us perfectly. And it isn't easy to pinpoint when exactly he embraced this letting go of self approach to life. But he shares what a lot of gifted entertainers, the funny ones in particular, can't help but seem to have in common. They are all kind of a mess. So Jim Carrey isn't crazy. He's just a woke lad. And in case you don't see it, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.